Joel, you hit that fish pretty quick. You know, one thing, I think the hardest part about blackfishing is probably set, whoop, I just had a touch. It's probably setting the hook. Now, I just had a bump. I'm gonna wait on that fish a second, see if he comes back and out. Actually, I think that's it, right there. There it is.
Wow, nice fish. There we go.
That might be a little better.
Oh, that fish is screaming, Rick.
Wow.
You're watching Northeast Angling. We're proud to present inshore and offshore saltwater fishing. We cover every species from fluke and porgies to stripers, sharks, and tuna. You can learn more about techniques, tackle, and destinations at neangling.com. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Well, Rich, got a chance to get back out here, one of our favorite places and fish today.
Yep, Montauk Point, where I've got a good captain with us today. We're gonna seize one of the few opportunities we have left to get back out on the water this winter, and we got Joel Lisa from the Sea Otter Fleet. Joel, we're gonna do some blackfishing today?
We're gonna give it a shot. The blackfishing should be just getting better now with the cold weather. We kind of end the season with the best blackfishing, I'd say, on the island. It kind of closes out everywhere else, and we just get better, and you know, until it gets too cold.
Seems like it's been that way for years. It's amazing.
Last year we had them till the first 2 weeks where it got real cold in January. With the last 2 days we caught them. We caught up, you know, over 150 fish on the boat.
Wow.
You know, but that's with 20, 25 customers, not like, you know, everybody's limited out.
Still a good day. Still a good day of fishing. I'm really looking forward to this. We're just breaking the inlet here now, so ready to get on it?
Yeah, let's move.
Let's go.
Well, Joel, that wasn't a bad run at all. I thought with this heave on it was going to be a lot worse, but that was pretty pleasant.
Looks like it laid down real nice. This is a rare fall day. Looks like it's even getting nicer as this day comes on.
You know, Joel, we've seen this piece on the machine. We're in 60 feet of water. You said this piece came up about 10 feet. We went up to 52 feet. You actually told us to stop the boat on it to get an idea how we're going to drift. So now you got the drift, and now what's next on the agenda?
Now just going to go above the piece, set the anchor about, it depends how deep it is. This piece here, I usually go about 4 or 5/10 of a mile ahead of it. On the angle, we're going to drift. We drifted at 330, so I'm going to come up 180 degrees different.
Right on it.
And that's crucial when it comes to blackfishing. You want to be right on it. So I'm going to get up to the bow and get ready to drop this anchor.
I'm going to pass over it one more time, make sure I really get the boat right over it, and then I'm going to move us up a bit, and I'll let you know on the drop.
All right, I'm going to go up.
Here we go.
Sometimes with blackfishing here, I mean, it's not uncommon to have to set up 2 or 3 times on the same piece. You know, it's a little
I'm planning
difficult.
on getting this on the first try.
It's nice to get it on a first try, but don't be afraid to pick it up and try it again.
Andy, I'm ready when you are.
Okay, let me move up a little bit more. We got a ways to go up here.
I think that's...
Beautiful day, my gosh, it's perfect out here. Come getting there, Rich. This is going to be about it.
Okay.
Should be able to creep right back on it from here.
Now again,
nice piece of bottom there.
What you want to do is you want to make sure the boat's in reverse and moving backwards before you drop the anchor.
And you want to drop it. You never want to throw it.
This is true.
You're just going to slip it in, and we're going to slide back here. Go ahead, Rich. Drop it in.
We're clear. She's going
Coming
down.
back. You know, one of the things that we talk about here is when dropping these anchors back, you know, Rich got a little bit of grab on that thing, making sure it's going to go down straight and not come in a big pile when it hits the bottom.
Especially with these smaller anchors. I mean, the correct way to anchor is not to try to pull it and jerk it in the bottom. It's just squeeze it, let it go, squeeze it, let it go.
I like to just get a little motion of the boat in reverse, not too fast in reverse, because she'll just skip along the bottom and not bite.
I got a bite now. So.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm right smack on the piece. There's the piece. It's right on the stern of the boat. If you can pull it up just about a foot or two, Rich.
If you want to bump me up a little bit?
Yeah, just a tiny bit. and we should be all set.
Pull that cleat up.
Yeah, right there is going to be fine. That piece is going to be right off the back of the boat here.
Looks good.
All right, let's do it.
Set here.
Yep, let's go. Joel, you got to set up on this piece? Ah, Rich is hooked up.
Yeah, just grabbed one, Andy.
Looks like we're sitting all right to start.
You know, Joel, like, you know, you talk about anchoring, probably one of the most important things when it comes to blackfish. Wow,
That's a nice fish.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And, you know, obviously you want to be right on top of the structure. A lot of times you use 2 anchors. And, wow, 2 nice fish. Look at that. Andy, look at these fish.
The way to start.
Well, you weren't kidding about this spot. And, you know, Joel, once again, it's so critical that you set up right, you take your time, you feel the drift, see which way the boat's drifting, and then you anchor. No need to race to anchor and then not be set up on the piece and have to do it all over again.
I want to let that one go, but that is one beautiful fish right there.
Well, let's get our crabs back in the water and get moving again.
I'm ready.
The biggest thing I find with anchoring is to take your time. Make sure you set your drift up like you were saying, Andy. A lot of guys just drop the anchor as soon as they get to the spot, and you're nowhere near the piece when you tighten up on the anchor.
Joel, you like to use a marker buoy at all when you're fishing a small spot? I know a lot of guys like to take a marker buoy. They'll run over where they want to fish, they'll drop it down, and then you can also see which way it's laying and use it as a guide also a little bit. Do you do that at all?
I don't use the marker buoy, but I know a lot of people that do. It works good for some people. I just don't care for it. I'm used to double anchoring sometimes with my other boat, and you know, you end up swallowing it up. But I mean, we used to, when I used to use just, you know, if I was fishing on a little boat and not double anchoring, I'd always use a marker buoy.
I guess when you gain more, ooh, I just missed one. I guess when you gain a little bit more experience, then I guess, you know exactly where you want to be and you don't need that buoy. But for somebody starting out, Andy, it's probably a good idea.
Yeah. Plus, the nice thing is when you double anchor, you can always make adjustments if you're not quite right on the piece.
That's a good point, Andy.
Don't get me wrong, on the marker buoy, we use a cheetah machine, we use the plotter. It's just like a marker buoy, only you wouldn't, you know, not everybody knows you're using it. I always use the, you know, the plotter to tell me exactly where I want to be.
That's a really good point.
Well, let's hope this bite continues.
Visit the Northeast Angling website at neangling.com for nationwide saltwater charter directory, fishing news, and free fishing reports. You can also find dozens of techniques, tips, and tackle for every saltwater species. Now let's get back to the action.
Well, you know, we're back here with Captain Joel Leeser of the Sea Otter Fleet, and Joel, we're fishing about 60 feet of water. And one of the things you want to do when you're fishing in these areas is sometimes you want to flip out and you want to get an idea what that bottom looks like just by feeling it through the braided line. You have a tendency to flip a lot when you're fishing?
Definitely. If I'm not getting bites where first I'll drop it straight down and then start flipping it, and where you feel the structure, you know, spend majority of the time where the structure is. Be patient.
Right, because the blackfish are typically going to be tight to the structure, and you just probe around till you find the right piece of bottom, kind of hold it there. If it feels good, and you just wait. In fact, I got a little player here.
Oh, there you go, Andy.
Okay.
But that's very true what you said. And you know, a lot of times...
Shoulders here?
Yeah, it's a little better fish.
A lot of times you're going to fall off a piece. You could feel the sinker fall 3 or 4 feet. And what you want to do at that point in time is just freeze. Keep a little bit of belly in the line. This way you're not moving that sinker around too much. And just wait for that fish to come. Sometimes you can almost sense it, you know, Joel?
You know, Joel,
definitely.
I think I could probably use a net on this guy.
That's a nice fish, Andy.
Yeah, I could probably use a net on this fish. You know, one thing we talk about is you got to keep these fish's head beneath the water, especially when you're waiting for somebody to get a net for
Yeah,
it.
that's pretty much with any fish, Andy. That's with fluke, with flounder. Any fish that you're going to net, you don't want to lift his head out of the water because once he starts thrashing on the surface, that's when he's going to throw the hook.
Here we go, Joel.
That's a nice looking fish.
Decent
There
one.
we go. Well, I'll tell you, these Block Island blackfish, pretty big.
Now, Joel, typically how long will you fish for these fish in this area?
This time of the year, or what are we?
In the
The whole season, when did your season start and end?
We
Winter
start
time.
catching around the end of October. We'll start fishing around gardeners or fishers, and then we'll move on. We got a few wrecks to the north. We fish Rhode Island. Right now we're off of Block Island. Usually later we start fishing around Southwest Ledge or here. And then last year we started catching them actually on the cod spots late, like early January.
Wow.
Just before it turned on real cold.
And Andy, it doesn't look like you were going to lose that fish.
No, this fish was really well hooked no matter what. Well, I'm going to get him back, and we'll get him going, and get myself some more bait.
Good fish, bro.
He's back in the water.
Let's do it.
Oh,
There he is.
Hooked up there, Rich?
Yeah, I got one.
Nice.
Decent, or?
This one feels pretty good.
Well, guys, I got cleaned out there. It's just, you know, we're talking about baiting up, Joel. You gave us a couple of great tips. Just want to talk about them for a second. You know, these green crabs we're using, use them whole, use them half. What do you like the best?
I personally like halves. I cut the legs off. I use a pair of scissors usually. And sometimes when it's a little finicky, I'll put 2 halves on and rip the shell off of one and leave the shell on the other.
And when you have a broken crab like that, what's happening is you're getting a lot of scent in the water. Rich, that's a nice fish.
That's not a bad fish at all, Andy. You know, it's funny, you know, you talk about all the different ways you can bait up, and there's a lot of personal preferences when it comes to this. There's really no right way and no wrong way. But I mean, I've known times where fish have been very finicky, where I've had to downsize my bait to almost nothing to get them to bite. And then there's days you can put them whole big green crabs down, Andy, and they just slam it, you know?
Now, you're absolutely right, Richard. And, you know, the other thing you want to do is you want to watch the guys who are fishing around you. You know, there's typically going to be 1 or 2 guys who are doing a little better than everybody else. They've probably already figured it out. And just roll with the punches at that point. Joel, I know you must see that a lot in your boat. You get a couple of hot hands, right?
Blackfish is definitely one of those things where you want to be next to the guy that's catching him and watch what he's doing. I call it Muggsy fishing.
Yeah.
Especially on a party boat. You got one guy that's catching him and 10 guys not. Get over to the guy that is.
That's a really good point.
You could lose some friends like that, but I guess it's...
Blackfishing, the rules,
But you could catch more fish that way.
Blackfishing.
So you got to put the gloves on and not worry about it, is what you're saying.
Well, as long as the party was not crowded, we bounce around.
I got you. That's a smart thing to do.
Oh, there's a little bit of a touch.
There you go, Andy.
That's a little more solid fish.
All right.
Now, Joel, how about chumming these fish?
I usually don't chum for blackfish. I just missed one. Some guys I've heard of it, but not too common that I've seen.
Thank you. You know, I'm not a big fan of chumming for them also, but the one thing, you know, the few occasions, like sometimes in the spring I notice when they're on the shallower water and they're spread out and they're spawning, sometimes you can chum from it, it works. A lot of guys, Joel, you notice, slack water, they like to throw some legs over the side and maybe get a little bit going, but you really wouldn't consider it putting a chum pot down and actually chumming though, right?
You know, I always cut the legs over the side. I guess it is chumming, but I don't consider it chumming.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, Joel, you got some nice quality fish here, and these are absolutely beautiful. Yeah. Well, this guy's going back. You're going to catch him tomorrow.
Good job, Andy. Now, Joel, you hit that fish pretty quick. You know, one thing, I think the hardest part about blackfishing is probably I just had a touch. It's probably setting the hook. Now, I just had a bump. I'm going to wait on that fish a second, see if he comes back. And actually, I think that's it right there. There he is. But I mean, it's probably the most difficult part about fishing for these fish, wouldn't you say, Andy, is setting the hook?
Yeah, and it's so important. After the hook set, when your rod's high, it's important to reel down.
Nice
nice fish, Joel. It's important not to just drop back down and let the fish get back into the structure.
Yep.
Oh, that's a solid fish, too.
That ain't too bad either.
Nice one.
Look at that dog. Woohoo!
Tell you what? It's very, very quality fish. Hey, hang on there.
He's taking me for a ride, Andy. Thanks.
Some nice quality fish here.
And he's peeing all over the place, too. Oh, man. Now, these are, you got a nice white chin there, right, Joel?
Yeah, these are males. Usually, if we're going to take fish, we'll take the males.
You leave the big breeding females alone, huh?
We try to, yeah.
But now this is a solid fish. I mean, this is, you know, every bit of 6 pounds. And, you know, we're fishing here winter time. And I mean, we had a beautiful day today, obviously. And to come out here and catch fish like this is just, it's amazing.
And plus a bite just as consistent as this one. I got one playing with me here.
Got a touch there, Andy? But, you know, that's what we were talking about, the bite now. A lot of times you'll notice the guys will try to hit them right away, and you know, a lot depends on the action of the fish. Sometimes the fish are real active where you can hit them quick, and then a lot of times you got to be a little bit more patient.
Be patient. You wait and pick your spots. In fact, I got cleaned out, put some new bait on. Let me get back down there.
One of the hardest ways for the customers to get them is when they'll actually, you don't even feel a bite. They just walk the sinker away. I find I just try to lift up, set the hook immediately. But a lot of guys don't even realize they're having a bite at that time.
Yeah, you know, we talked about that earlier. Some of the biggest blackfish I've ever caught sometimes is when you just lose the weight of that sinker.
Exactly.
It's like that real big guy just picks it up and
just moves it.
Exactly, and he comes up, maybe he comes up a piece with it or get it away from the guys that are around him, but you just lose the weight of the sinker, and what you do there is just reel to you tight and set as fast as you can, and that generally turns out to be the big one.
Visit the Northeast Angling YouTube channel for hundreds of videos, including full-length episodes, exciting clips, product reviews, and instructional videos. And now, the exciting conclusion.
You know, Joe, we lost the tide here a little bit now, and the wind's got us a little bit more. We shifted a little bit, but, you know, we still got some pretty good productive bottom on us. So I guess before you're thinking about pulling up and resetting, you want to see what you swung onto, right?
If there's life there, I usually try to see give it a half hour at least to see what you come up with.
You know, guys, I just slipped off a little ledge here. You know, we talk about it all the time. When you find the right spot, you pull off a ledge, just hold it there. Hold it nice and steady, a little bit of slack in the line. You'll feel the hit right through the braided line anyway.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, one of the biggest things with fishing in the ocean also is, you know, you're predominantly always going to get one of these large swells on. Like we got today. It seems like a beautiful day, but there's a pretty large swell going on.
And you just got to dip and work with the swell.
And that's what's happening. You know, you don't want to leave that sinker. There you go, Andy. You don't want that sinker to come off the bottom, so you constantly want to stay in touch with the bottom. So you're always moving your rod, raising your rod, lowering it with that swell to make sure you stay in contact, but not flip that sinker along the bottom too much.
That's a scrappy little guy.
I always tell the customers try to work as like a shock absorber. Try to compensate with the swell, just like you're saying.
Right, and you know, that's a nice fish, Andy. There you go. That's a good one.
Hey.
Tautog. Woo. And you know, the other thing you can do is, you know, you notice these fish, they get very clicky. They'll come from one area of a piece, and you know, when you find that area, you want to flip to it. Like you just flip down in that direction over there, and if you get a bite, you can rest assured I'm going to flip out in that general area also. But that's why you do it. You want to locate them fish.
Definitely. I mean, one piece is definitely like corner, stern corner. A lot of times will become the one spot that everybody circles around, and that's where the fish are being caught. Or sometimes it's the bow or whatever. Don't hesitate to wiggle around the boat. That's what I tell everybody on a party boat.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, this has been great. I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah, it's a fun day.
And I'll tell you, it certainly isn't boring.
No, haven't had lack of action, that's for sure.
Quite a bite we got going on here now, Joel.
And again, Joel?
As I speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has just been an unbelievable day so far. Now, Joel, I mean, I know you have the charter boat out of Montauk here. I know you fish for a lot of different types of fish. I mean, you know, tell me a little bit about where you sail out of also.
Well, right now, this time of year, we got we're spoiled in Montauk. We got plenty of striped bass, and blackfish action just seems to be getting better right now. It's kind of overlooked, Montauk, for blackfish, but you know, at the end of the year, it seems like it just turns on better and better. After Thanksgiving, right to Christmas, it's pretty steady.
Oh, there you go, Andy. Wow, Andy, I think you ran into a bluefish on that one, too.
I guess that fish something took a little bite out of him on the way up.
Would you look at that?
Wow.
Well, you know,
bluefish teeth, very sharp.
We said we were going to eat a couple, so that might be a good candidate.
I'm afraid we're going to be keeping
home.
this guy.
I'm gonna take this one too.
Yeah, it's a nice fish.
Something tells me that fish ain't going to make it if we don't hold on to it. So that's incredible. Look at the colors on that fish. Look at the rust in his back.
Wow.
You see a lot of that. He got actually bit. It looks like he tried to grab him by the dorsal first.
Yeah, and then got him underneath.
Got him on the other side.
On the reel up, you know, I felt a little bit of a tug at one point. Those bluefish teeth are so sharp, and it's late for bluefish now.
I was going to say, I guess it would have to be a bluefish, right, Joel? What else would be around that would do that?
If it was earlier in the year, I'd say maybe a shark, but bluefish, I'd say. We've been catching bluefish occasionally on the herring rigs when we're striped bass fishing right now. So.
Well, I said this guy's going to have to make it to the table.
Oh, there we go. I just got slammed.
Now that looks like a nice solid fish there.
Oh man.
Is that the one we're fishing for?
You know what? This might be, Joel. That feels like a good fish right there. Oh. It's amazing. Look at, oh my Lord. It's amazing how they can pound down on you, ain't it?
They're strong fish.
Oh,
they're really
man.
crappy. Hey, Joel, you want to do net on or something?
Yeah, you know what? I was just about to ask for that. I might need a net for this one. He just slammed me, boy.
Getting back to the Montauk experience, this is a great place to fish. Not hard to get to. There's a lot of things to do here. Wow, look at that fish.
The only drawback we got is we're exposed to the weather. You know,
wow.
The fishing should just stay better.
Andy, I don't think I had to worry about a bluefish taking a bite out of him when he came up.
No, that's a good one. Hey, let's get a weight on that one.
Do we have that scale there, Andy?
Yeah.
The gripper scale?
Yeah, this looks like we made it to the promised land here. Look at the chin on that fish.
Let me take the hook out of this guy if I can.
I need a pair of pliers on that. Joel, could you grab me those pliers right over? Oh, you got it?
Wow, how tough are these fish's mouths, Joel? Huh?
Well, you weren't losing that fish. There's no doubt about that.
This is just incredible how tough their mouths are. It really is.
They're pretty hard on hook.
Yep.
See that?
Rich is pretty hard on that hook right now.
I'll get him. Actually, I think I bent that hook. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually cut that because I'm going to retie it anyway. We can weigh in with the hook on it. And if you don't mind, I think I'd like to take
I'm adding that hook to the weight here, and we're going to subtract it a while down.
Whoa, I got him. I got him. And if you don't mind, Andy, I think I'd like to take this one home for the table also. That's a good looking
really
fish right
solid
there.
fish.
I'm going to open his mouth for you.
Go.
That is one solid fish right there. What do we get?
Well, Rich, looks like you just made it to the promised land here. It's a tiny bit over 10.
Thank you for watching Northeast Angling. You can learn more about techniques, tackle, and destinations as seen on this show at neangling.com. See you on the water.